money, I be steady chasing. Tell it, some niggas get on my level. When it G5 sitting on the what it is Ripper Man, and you rocking with the G-Spot Lounge. So turn the speakers up. Let's go. You done tuned in to the G-Spot, so you own now. Mine got the rock to go rebound. Tell them other stations that we go fire that. When they chat it up, got something to say, you can call it in like a sick day. Aliens with the intellect, we now. Bring your best out, turn the show out, you don't laugh. Who the competition, they in time out. Hope you tuning in, cause it's going down in the G.
Baby, we can make this work. I promise that to you. She gon' love me. She gon' vouch for me. She gon' ride, she gon' die. I need her when the weekend. I need a little girl.
She's so good, she my type. I think I might change her life. Shorty gon' push straight day through the night. All her ass that darkest tonight. 3D dimension can change your life. 100 grand in the flip, it can change your life. 10 doors down, whether they're that way. Got a thing for the diamonds, no, I keep the ice. If ever step to my level. Trey star girl got a thing, she's clever. Not trying to speak, ain't digging like a shovel. Shorty so big, got me heated like the devil. Trey star, baby, make it rain for the weather. You could be my wife if you down forever.
She gon' ride for me. Anything go wrong, she gon' vouch for me. She gon' ride, she gon' die. I'll be up on the week. I need a good girl. I need a good girl that's gonna ride with me. The type of fire that's gonna fight for me. So baby, come on.
What's good? This is the G-Spot Lounge. We back in here. We got a bunch of guests here. How y'all doing?
Good, bro.
All right. Hey, why don't y'all go around and introduce yourselves? You gotta get on the mic, bro.
I'm Emad, I'm a friend, childhood friend. My name's Vick Dee.
So you just show up as a childhood friend. I mean, what do you do?
Nobody is. I just got out about 6 weeks ago. I did 30 years out. Dope case. Illinois State. Long prison sentence and all my history of drugs. And I started out with 99 years, actually 103, but they cut it down about 3 years ago. The governor gave me commutation. But I still did the longest sentence for drugs in the state. The sentence to the longest sentence.
Hey, we're gonna come back to you, man. We're gonna come back to you. All right, y'all go ahead.
My name is Derrick. I'm here with Demitrien. I'm currently writing a book right now. You've been helping me out a lot, and that's why I'm.
All right.
I don't think no introduction is needed. Now, what's happening, y'all? I'm Demitrien Oliphant from Inglewood.
My name is Ki, or I go by the author name of Ki Alexandra, and I live in Iowa right now, but I'm originally from Chicago.
My name is Emad Deen. I authored a book, The Jerusalem Gangster, under the name of Emad Deen. I'm from the back of the yards neighborhood, ex-gangbanger, ex-drug dealer, ex-prisoner, all the above.
Hey, you know what? These two gave a good introduction, man. Y'all was like, yeah, man, this, what's up, man? I mean, let people know who y'all are, what y'all do,
Don't be
how y'all get
nervous.
down.
Don't be nervous.
Hey, we're a little nervous, man. Y'all gotta excuse me.
You want me to go again?
Well, I mean, okay, so
Okay. Yeah, piggybacking off of that, I work right now as a counselor for the state of Iowa, and I've been writing since I was 13 years old. And the books that I write about are about women, relationship issues that go on. My first book called By Any Means Necessary, details the teenage love of what we're willing to go through for that love. And then my second book right now is called His Lover, Her Headache, The Side Chick Chronicles. And I wanted to show different um, relationships, not just your typical hood relationships, but I have a professional relationship in there. I have the typical side chick and how her mental and what made her do what she do. And I think because I'm a counselor and I'm in love with psychology, I'm in love with the mind. You can really see that in my books, that how I'm why my characters are the way that they are, because everybody starts from somewhere. So
so how many books you have? Two?
I have, well, currently I have four, but two of them are, the next two will be released within the next month.
Okay, so like if people wanted to get those books, where would they get them from?
I have a website. It's called KAL Publishing LLC.com. And they're also available on Amazon, but I'm trying to cut Amazon out. So definitely go to my website. And I also offer literary services. When I was getting my master's degree in counseling, I did a lot with business. I really wanted to focus on the business aspect of it. So I also offer literary services such as business proposals, grant writing, resume writing, scholarship writing, sponsorship, letters, you name it, whatever you need to be written, I can write, because that's pretty much my niche right there.
We gonna be best friends. You said grants, right?
Grants, everything. I research them, I write them.
So how long does it take you to write a book?
I mean, it depends on how I zone out. It can take me 3 days. The side,
Wow.
yeah, I zone when I get into my level. When I get into it, there's really no stopping me. So it can take me as short as 3 days, or it can take me as long as 3 to 6 months. But yeah, I do my own editing, formatting, everything.
So like typically, how many pages do you have?
So my first book has over 300. My second book is about 150, because again, that's just the short chronicles. My third book that's about to come out, be looking for that, and I'm also doing a little twist with it. It is, I think, about 150, and my fourth book is about 400.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know much about books. So, like, are you getting like decent money for it? It's like, is
Oh
it
yeah,
doing pretty
yeah.
good?
Well, I get my most money vendors. I do a vending in the Midwest. I just reached out to a young woman in South Carolina. I want to start tapping into the South really, really heavy, because the money is in the South. Dallas, Alabama, Mississippi, South Carolina, contrary to the beliefs, they have, when they put on vendings for books, it's big, especially in Louisiana. So I really want to start getting into there, but I've been really relying on my marketing, going on to like paying marketing for Facebook, just everything. You name it, I'm doing it, just trying to really get out there and create my audience, because that's what it's really all about, is your audience.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Emad, am I pronouncing it correct?
Yes.
So what's your story, man? What's good with you?
Well, the thing with me, man, I never, I never thought about writing a book. We live a life, like for us in Chicago. I come from the low end part of Chicago. I'm from 44th Street, and the way we grew up, I did some time, got out, and I went to a fundraiser. And at this fundraiser, my friend that I went for is for a nonprofit organization. It was some doctors from Ann Arbor, Michigan, and it was being held at a doctor's office. He's a surgeon from Syria, and the rest of the doctors were from India, Bangladesh, so on. So my friend that took me with him needed to talk to somebody else, and he told the Syrian doctor, he said, "Hey, talk to Emad. You'll find his life interesting." And he said that. I was wondering what is he talking about? Because in our mindset, this is normal. The way we lived is normal.
Right.
We don't look, we see it because we lived it. It was an everyday thing. This is what we live. So it kind of threw me off a little bit. So the doctor says, "Yeah, hey, tell me a little bit about it." He was interested, and I said, "All right." So I ran about 8 minutes worth of conversation with him. And he stopped me and grabbed me by the hand and took me to my friend and said, "Hey, this guy got to write a book about his life." And at that moment, I thought the doctor I said, he must be nuts, this doctor or something. So that was the first time. That was about 2000. And I got out of the federal system in 2004. This was probably about 2006. And from there on, I've even had like outlaw motorcycle bikers for the outlaw club tell me that I should write a book. So it was over and over until one day I went to a friend of mine who was supposed to be here, Farad Lewis. They call him Farilla G. He's from Inglewood. I went to visit him in Dalton, and he had a book sitting there. He said, "Hey, I did my book," and I grabbed it and I felt it. And I said, "This dude wrote a book, really?" And he said, "Man, dude, man, you got to write a book, man. You got a good story." Being that I'm from the Middle East, I was born in Jerusalem. And I became a gangbanger in like 1981, 82. Back then, there wasn't many Palestinians in that. And I became a force to be reckoned with in my neighborhood. I lived in a very, very horrible household. My dad was a very rough individual. And I took to the streets, man, and I found love and acceptance from my guys in the streets. And I'm a saint from 45th Street. You could YouTube it and see about the saints, man. I found a lot of love and acceptance from the clique, man. And so everybody I talked to, finally Farad, he said, "Man, you got to write a book." And I went home, and you know what? I did some research on a computer that would accommodate that, and a few other things, and I started writing. The book. It took me some time, but I would leave it. It was hard. It's hard. I mean, I give her nothing but respect for what she does. 3 days, man. I couldn't sit for 20 minutes on the computer. It was 20 minutes at a time. That's how I did it. 15 minutes, and I was burnt out. Because you're talking about maybe it's a little bit different because we're talking about this is a true life story. This is stuff that was coming back, and I was making a mistake. I would have to go back and say, "Wait a minute. This wasn't 83. That was actually 84 when this happened." And I would have to readjust and go back, and it would burn me out. And then I'm talking about friends who are dead. They're no longer here. And it brought back some memories about them, some good memories. And now that they're gone, and it was difficult for me to I would have to leave it. And then I got in the middle of all that. I left the book for about 6-7 months, and then came back to it. And then I went to these. Well, when the time comes, I'm gonna publish this. How do I publish this book? So I as soon as I jumped into the computer and started to look, I was bombarded with phone calls from these publishing companies, and it was like talking to used car salesmen. These guys are all shysters. They're shy. "Oh, you take this, I will give you this, and if you do it today, we'll give you it's $1,400 for this package, 4,000. It could go up to 12,000. It was like that kind of thing, and then it really brought me into a depression. I went into a depression. And I said, "You know what? I don't think I'm gonna write this book anymore. If I gotta deal with these people, because we're the kind of people, man. We don't like people to get over on us. We don't want to get over on them. We deal, even when we dealt in the drug game, we dealt legitimately, not like the way they do now. Yeah, I could owe you $200,000-$300,000. You're gonna get your money. You front me, that kind of stuff. I'm gonna get you your money. I'm not. This ain't about screw you. I screw you, screw you, and you screw me. It's about legitimate business, man. And it was where we come from. The things I've been through. I'm not letting no dude sitting up in New York stick me up that way, rape me. So then I got with this brother by mistake. I don't know. It was on Facebook. We hooked up, and this brother was actually this is the guy. This is the guy. This is the guy.
Oh yeah.
Who actually pulled me through this, showed me how to do it, and gave me the confidence back that I needed to push forward and finish the book. Because I think when I got with him, I was probably at page 50. The book is 303 pages.
Okay.
I was somewhere there, I think, right? And then I wound up finishing the book, and he walked me through everything and how we could do through this Amazon on your own. Don't go through these people. The mistakes he made, and he never asked me for nothing in return. Never. This brother never asked me for nothing in return. And I talk all the time, and I say, and it saddens me in a sense, in this way, that somebody like him, somebody like me, somebody like us does not get the recognition that we should have. And I appreciate you allowing us to come in here and put and do this for us, because this is a big thing for us. Did I think that I would be sitting here talking about a book with these brothers, with you? You know, this might be something you do every day, but to us, it's not something we do every day. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, and I'm elated. I'm elated. Thank you.
And you know, and that's what this platform is for.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's not about me. You know, it was when I started it, it was never about me.
Yes.
It was because, like you said, you go through different things, people shoot you down.
Yes.
People don't give you an opportunity.
No,
so I created my own opportunity.
Nice.
You know. How long did it take you to write this book?
So in total, putting it down, picking it up, 6 months off, 2.5 years.
Right.
2.5 years. 2.5 years. And actually, I should have published it long before that. And I would call him up late at night, and he would say, "Man, just do it." And I would say, "Nah, man, I gotta check. I gotta see." I was nervous because I want, we're talking about real life stuff. Not scared that I'm gonna get arrested for anything. Nothing like that. It just was. I didn't have the confidence that it was gonna be good. And then the first person to read it, she's near downtown, and he's a broker for commercial loans, $1 million loans. He started to read the book, and he was texting me every couple minutes. "Damn, bro." He knows Kevin Hart. He's trying to get Kevin Hart on base with this book. Right. He said, "Man, this is better than Carlito's way." Right. I'm telling you, I mean, things like that. And I was shocked, and I was embarrassed, and I said, "Man," and I'm thinking to myself, "Is he have my book? Or is he reading another book, makes a mistake in my book?" It's that kind of, that's not realistic. Right. The reality was he was reading my book. So and then the reviews on the book, I get things. I mean, I got a friend right now that's telling me the childhood stuff is traumatic when you're talking about the Middle East. Right. We just went through a war. Europeans came from Europe, took our country, occupied us. I mean, you see Nelson Mandela, he said the situation in Palestine next to the situation in South Africa makes it look like heaven, basically. Right. He said different words, but what I'm saying is that it's 1,000 times worse for the Palestinians within the occupied territories than what the South Africans had to endure after he visited the West Bank when he was released.
So, like, now that you got your book written, when you look back and look at the time, the effort, the hard work you put in it, I mean, like, how do you feel? And you see a finished product. I mean, how do you feel? Do you like, man?
I tell you what, I think it hasn't sunk in yet to this day. It hasn't sunk in. I think I get more, like, it wakes. It's something that's in me, and that it goes to sleep. And then when somebody talks about it to me and says, "Hey, man, your book," it wakes it up. And I realize, damn, I wrote a book. Right. I really did it. And then again, I'm going to say that I did it, and I only was able to complete it. And I was to get where I'm at today is because of this brother right here, Demitrien.
That's true brotherhood.
You're a good dude, man.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
So, like everything that you've been through, do you regret everything you've been through to get where you at now? And if you didn't go through what you went through, would you still been able to write a book?
If I didn't go through, do I regret what I've been through? I think everybody, whether it's Victor, Demitrien, any of us, if the stuff that we went through, I think we have some type of regret a little bit on how we did things. If we could bring time, everybody has to say that, but we can't. But would I change life if I didn't go through what I went through? There was no way I could have wrote a book.
Correct.
I would have had to. I would have had to make up some stuff.
Correct.
But everything that's in that book is the honest to God truth, a true life story. That's what's good about the book is it deals with, explains a bit about the Palestinian issue, the problems within that Holy Land. It deals with an abusive father who beats up the mother, the kids, everybody. It deals with being poor, having nothing to eat. It deals with owning businesses. It deals with the juvenile system a bit. It deals with Cook County and Illinois Department of Corrections. It deals with gangs. It deals with drug dealing. It deals with federal prison. It deals with federal courts. It deals with religion. It deals with a whole slew of things all into one in one book. Everything that I've been through is in there, and it's step by step.
And with all of that, like, what is your mind frame now?
Well, my mindset right now is this: I yearn to do what she does, counseling. Do counseling. I yearn, and I've been chasing for some time now. My big thing is to take what I've been through, all the negativity, and transform it into some type of positiveness. I dealt with at-risk youth when I was in federal prison. The last 3 years before I got out, I was a part of a group in Milan, Michigan called JAG, Juvenile Awareness Group. On Wednesday night, they would bring to the visiting room at-risk youth. Once a year, they would bring law students from the University of Michigan, where it was a Q&A type thing. And the dealing with at-risk youth was basically lecture them. On one side of me was my boss, Frank Calabrese, from the Family Secrets Trial. On one side, on the other side was a professor from the University of Michigan who became a crackhead and started robbing banks to support his habit. He was a prisoner with me. So it was a panel of 10 inmates, and that's the kind of inmates. To be on this, you had to be, 1, you couldn't be an informant. 2, you couldn't be a child molester or a rapist or anything like that. And you had to have a clean prison record. So that's my mindset. That's where I'd like to go. And I've been searching high and low and trying to get in somewhere and fit in, man. But everything, it seems, there's walls constantly being put in front of you, and you have to climb them and get to the other side. It's a little difficult. It's not little. It's real difficult.
But at the same time, like we was talking about creating opportunities.
Yes.
You created opportunities.
Exactly.
And all you have to do is find a way to share your opportunities.
Exactly.
Your first step right
You
here.
know, and hell, I don't even think I could have made it past the first page. I'd have been like, fuck it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, the thing is now, after the book, is to just basically touch on what you say and reiterate that you are correct. That was the first step. Doors are being opened now.
Good.
Like we're here now,
Exactly.
because of that. So this door is open. There's other doors being open, and hopefully more doors open. My main thing is that I want something to open from that on 2 fronts. One, I want something to open. I always talk in plural when I talk. Anything to open for me opens for them. Anything opens for them opens for me. That's on one front. The other part is to dealing with what's going on in these neighborhoods. As bad as it was for us, it's a lot. I'm telling you, I got out of federal prison. I walked into my neighborhood where I was Jolly the Green Giant, and Victor's sitting here just like he was once upon a time in that neighborhood. From Jolly the Green Giant, a feared individual. I'm 5'4", but you know, I made a lot of noise walking down the street, and to a shock. I went to my neighborhood, and it actually scared me a little bit. Actually scared me a little bit. And every guy I told that was coming out, and I said, and I had this feeling, I had this bad feeling in there. Every guy that was coming out to stay joined, there was a Saint Smiley, Baby Pitt. And I said, look, bro, get off the street. I'm telling you, your time is up. I swear to you, within a month or two, they were dead.
Wow.
I just felt it. I felt it. I came into a neighborhood that I didn't even recognize anymore. The amount of violence, the craziness, just like spiraled way out of control. So I mean, I'd like to bring some type of calm there from my experience, and I can't do it by myself. So hopefully there is. Hopefully we
It's
can.
gonna take a lot of brotherhood.
It's gonna take a lot of
it
people,
really is.
not by myself.
Truly.
I can't.
So-
But it can be done. But it's got to start at the bottom, because there's an old saying. See, what society looks at now is this: wait for the man to break and then try to fix him. But it's harder to fix a broken man than it is to build a strong man.
Exactly.
It's easier to build a strong man from the bottom up, rather than to wait and let him get broke and try to fix him.
Right.
It's so that's what we're trying to that's what I'm trying to say, is let's start at the bottom and deal with it from the bottom, and then go work our way up. Catch those up there that are already older and broken, but you got to catch these guys at the bottom and do something with the bottom, rather than let's wait for him to kill, then we'll deal with it.
So, like you were saying that you say you 5'4", you made a lot of noise.
Yes.
So do you think you still hold the same weight now?
I'll tell you what, it would take some work, and I'll say this: the government did some things that crushed that type of organization. Now, guys, back in my day, if a guy was holding a spot, I respected him, and I followed the rule of law, our law.
Right.
Okay. Nowadays, for instance, I use Larry. I never heard anybody. Larry could be in the middle of Stateville in a cell, and it'd be out here, and somebody would say Hoover, and you get checked. Why are you even mentioning his name? Who are you? And you got, unless somebody knew you, you got checked, you got pulled.
Right.
I got out and I heard people say F Larry, something I've never heard before.
Right.
So they broke all that. There is no such thing as they would say, oh, a certain individual can come out to the street and say, snap his finger, and all the violence would stop. That's not going to happen, because they crushed the structure. They took away all the respect for those individuals who had the respect.
Correct.
So for me to go back into my neighborhood and think I got something, first of all, when I came into my neighborhood, I was driving down the street, and guys from my own clique were giving me hard looks, and I had to catch myself a couple of times. I'd hit the brake and I'd say, "What's up, bro? What's up?" And I would have to represent to my gang, and I'm like, wait a minute, why am I doing it? But I had to do this, and these dudes would look at you, even though they knew who you were. They looked at you not like as a guidance, but as a threat. Man, I don't care who you were. I don't honor that, because the government did all that, and the drug game brought all that in. The drug game took all respect out of the streets.
So, like now, is it that you pretty much like, man, I'm on my own?
Exactly.
And
this is
moving different
with a few
directions.
good brothers in direction. And the direction what we're trying to move is there's a lot of people. Let me be frank with you. There's a lot of organizations within the city of Chicago who are there supposedly to make a better life for the community, and in reality, what it is just another group of people feeding off the poor. Okay, we are the anti-violence movement. We are the anti-gang movements. And listen, how much can we get this year? How much can we get? What the government going to give us? Right. And that's what it's all about. Numbers, money.
That's it.
And that's what it's about. There is nothing. I sat down at a town hall meeting, and I saw a white lady get up. I don't know where she was from. Get up on 63rd and Cal. Get up and say, "Oh, you know what? When we had this thing at Marquette Park, there's a movement among the young people in these neighborhoods, the ghetto, these ghettos, that's trying to eat right." And I said, what movement is she talking about? I'm from them neighborhoods. What movement that they want to eat right? And I stood up and I said, what do you mean eat right?
Mhm.
These kids have to feed themselves. These kids have $2.50 for the day. Mom is working, there's no dad.
Right.
His food is gonna be $1.50 for that hot bag of chips with cheese
Mhm.
for the
Right.
morning, or a little bit above morning,
Mhm.
and then one for the afternoon till mom gets home, and then she could make something to eat at home.
Right.
What are you talking about? A movement for eating good? You mean to tell me there's a kid in the ghetto thinking about, we started a movement to eat broccoli and cauliflower?
Right.
Come on now, let's get serious here. And that's the people that come in. That's the people that come in for a short bit of time, right? Oh, well, no, when I was there at the park and we had this thing, I was making these things with kale and they were loving it. I said, you were giving them attention.
Exactly.
You were there to give them attention.
Mhm.
But you were there only for a couple of hours, then you left. There's a big difference in what you're talking about. You saw a positiveness, but you were there. Don't feel good because you were there. You feel, and that's what they do. Come in for an hour or two, and they go home back to where they come from, and they feel good about what they did. But that one kid that you saw happy for those 2 hours, well, he's still back where he was. And he's still gonna have to eat hot chips and cheese. He's not eating your broccoli and your kale and all that other stuff. And there is no movement to eat that.
You know, are you married?
Yes.
You have kids?
I have kids. Yes, I have a almost 6-year-old daughter right now. She's my world right now.
Okay.
And that has changed my life. And I think if I had a daughter about 25 years ago, I think I would have been a much different person. I think girls are awesome. I think women are awesome. I think
they keep you broke.
We could learn a lot.
They keep you broke.
Well, you know what?
Too.
Yeah.
That's their nature.
Yeah.
But
it's a beautiful thing.
If you had a son, let's say he was of age,
yes,
and he started getting into certain things, would
you
you
have a son? Okay.
Well, I'm saying, would you, turn him a different way?
Well, of course, I would try my best to turn him a different way.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, are we really in control of our kids?
No, what I'm saying is, if he say, "Dad, I'm doing what you was doing, and I respect what you was doing."
Yeah.
Would you?
We'd have to sit down and have a long conversation.
Okay.
We'd have to sit down and have a. I mean, I have a son who's 30 years old. I have a problem with him eating pork. Right. I have to tell him. So imagine if it went further than that, because I'm a Muslim, and really learned Islam in prison from African Americans. I learned Islam. They taught me my religion, and I was born into this religion. And I owe a lot to the African American community. I owe a lot to the African American community. A whole lot. I learned a lot. I learned a lot from the African American community, African American brothers within the prison system, African American brothers on the streets, and I've learned a lot from American people in general, because even a white individual in prison taught me some things I had no clue. I thought I was the smartest guy in the world until after he told me a few things, I realized I didn't know nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
All right.
I've talked too much. Sorry about
that. No, you good. All right, man. The man of the hour. What's up, man? What's your story? Let us know, man. Fill us in.
My story?
Your
Come
story,
on with it.
Man, I got a simple story, man. I'm a dude from Inglewood. You know what I'm saying? I was born in Inglewood, 59th of May. I moved to Claremont, which is West Inglewood. The borderline is Western. I'm the oldest of my brothers and sisters and whatnot. I got a lot of kids. I take care of them, so.
Right.
But yeah, man, just growing up the way I grew up and seeing what I seen, I always knew in the back of my mind I wanted to write a book. So, November 2002, and this book right here, Stolen Childhood. This is my baby. This is me in 1985. Okay. These are my two best friends. That's my little cousin sitting there. Everybody grown. I got kids and grandkids. You know what I'm saying? The photo was taken by my cousin James off. But as far as writing books, man, like I had it rough. You know what I'm saying? And I believe everybody got a story. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got a story. It's just how you tell a story.
Exactly.
See, I do a lot of fictional novels. And only because I don't want to incriminate myself or nobody else. So I look at it as just creative writing. You know what I'm saying? But every book I write, it's a piece of my life in the book. Every book. I was raised by my grandmother. It's a crazy story because you know, I used to rip and run the streets, do my thing out there, you know, and it kind of got hot. I said, I gotta sit down a minute, you know, rethink this thing and just come on. And so I'm gonna write a book. So I sit down, I go to typing and stuff. Damn, let me call my granny. So I called my grandma. I said, what you doing, old lady? So I'm not cooling, you know. She said, what are you doing? I said, I'm writing a book. She said, really? So what you writing about? I give her a rundown, you know, about life, really. You know, it's just about me and a few friends of mine and just a lot of the stuff I experienced growing up. You know, like, well, that's another story, but she told my sister, I used to call my granny every night, and we'd talk about this book. She's like, man, I done seen this dude do a whole lot of stuff. You know what I mean? She said, but don't nothing hold his attention. She said, there's something about this book that holds his attention. So before she passed away, God rest her beautiful soul, she told my sister, she said, I don't care what you do, you make sure that dude published that book. And those were the last words. So I published that book. A Stolen Childhood is actually the second book that I wrote, but the first that I'm sorry. My Brother's Keeper was the first that I published, but the second that I wrote. When I was locked up, me and my uncle were falsely accused of 13 counts of robbery, aggravated assault, and vehicle invasion. I got a documentary coming out called Guilty Until Proven Innocent, because that's really what it is. You know what I'm saying? You gotta really set yourself free. They say the burden of proof is on the state. That's bullshit.
Right.
Excuse me, that's bull. You know what I'm saying? You gotta set yourself free. So I would write, man, day in and day out, day in and day out. I couldn't wait to lock up. Like lock up time, that was my me time. So I would write till the lights go out. I was in Division 1. And when the lights would go out, I roll up my bunk, put it on the floor by the door, and a little beam of light coming in, I write using that until I passed out. You know, I did this every day. So I come home, said I'm gonna publish my book, this, that, and the third, the book. But check this out. Handwritten manuscript, I wrote it. It's probably over 500 pages, right? The handwritten manuscript, I still got it to this day. You know, by the grace of God, it made it home from jail. You see, so I'm in a sentimental value. If that book made it, because, you know, people send stuff home when you're on your way to the joint.
Right.
It never really makes it home. This made it home, which I still have today. I'm like, damn, there's a reason that this done that, right? And not only, I sent home my grand jury indictment, I sent home the police reports. They made me cop out, you know, because, like, there was a lot of shit going on. You know what I'm saying? I went to jail with probably, I had about $1,700. I accumulated over $30,000 sitting in jail. I got a good name. I had some real good people behind me. You know what I'm saying? But this documentary, man, like even with the books, but this documentary, oh, it's gonna tell it all. It's gonna tell it all because what if I was accused of some other shit?
Right.
You know, these people. See. Here's the thing. My grandmother called me. She say, "Well, yeah, son." I said, "Well, I'm out and about. What's happening?" Well, the police came looking for you and your Uncle Jeff. I'm like, Jeff? I could see me, you know, because I was outside doing shit. But my uncle, he's an older man. He don't do nothing to nobody. Man, go to work, come home from work, check out his movies, yada, yada. You know, every day, same thing. So I'm knowing it's some bullshit. I said, no, this is some bullshit. So I called my lawyer at the time, which was Todd Urban. Todd took us to, we went down with our lawyer to 39th Persian, the buildings over there.
Yeah.
And these dirty fuckers, man, put us in a lineup, right? And in the process of them putting us in a lineup, the law says you have a right to face your accuser. So your lawyer is your eyes and ears. We went down voluntarily. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to do the right thing because first off, I ain't done shit wrong. Secondly, I'm a father. I got a baby on the way. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go straighten this thing up and get back to our lives. That ain't how it went, bro. When they put us in the lineup, the cops closed the door on my lawyer, and the lawyer couldn't even see who was in the back picking us out. You know what I'm saying? And it was so fucked up, man, because the one time in my life I say, well, it's not the one time, but I'm gonna do the right thing because I ain't done nothing wrong. You know, the truth shall set you free, yada yada yada. Now, do I regret going down and turning myself in? Because that's what I felt like I done. Yeah, I do. But in doing so, man, it taught me a whole lot. You know, I miss my kids being born and, you know, stuff like that. So it actually took people out of my life that shouldn't have been in my life. Every little loophole I tried to, you know, because guys used to play cards and do stupid stuff. I was always reading and writing and going to the law library. Even though you got a lawyer, I was pointing out shit to my lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Oh, screw that, man. I got this my life. I ain't do this bullshit. We were in a bond court around election time. So if anybody know anything about the streets, you know, you got to chill out around election time because they gonna do you in. Then you get a bogus ass bond. My bond was 500,000 D. My uncle was 400,000 D. Mind you, my uncle never been in trouble. He probably went to the station for an open beer in a joint. Me, on the other hand, I mean, I'm not that bad of a guy. I done had my share of shit. I done, you know, but I didn't do this. I said, damn, is this the karma? Like, you know, did this come back and bite me for some shit that I did and got away with? So my mind was in a twist, man. I said, damn, man, what the hell? Every loophole, man, I could try to find to get out this jam. I couldn't get out that jam. God sat me down, wanted me to see something. You know what I'm saying? I said, damn, what is it? You know, now that I look back on it. And I know it's over and done and behind me. You know what I'm saying? But it still bothers me. On one note, it was a good thing that I saw what I saw because it separated a whole lot of bad people from me, man. People I thought was my friends and, you know, family and yada yada. Man, it took them people out of my life. I thank God for that every day. So with the books, how that come to play was I went through this company, man, called Ex Libris. Shade Tree Company, man. Shade Tree Company. You know what I'm saying? And like my brother Emad was saying, I told him when we first talked, and even Kiki, everybody that I ever gave advice to on publishing, self-publishing, it worked, man. I didn't go to school for none of this shit. I didn't read books for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that I advised on writing books, I said, let me show y'all the mistakes not to make. You know what I'm saying? My book hit top 10 bestsellers list 31 days after publishing, and I'm a no-name author. Nobody even knows me. But my reputation in the street and a couple good men, you know what I'm saying, bought free rolls too, man. Shout out to our and Miss Tiff, one of the homies from the hood. Man, the man bought shit probably like 200 copies at $20 a copy. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn. I said, wait, bro, we could use my discount to get them cheaper. He said, nah, don't worry about it, man. I'm proud of you. I say, damn, my man. You know what I'm saying? He buy the books. He called me. He said, where you at? I said, I'm around. What's happening? He said, come up to the car wash. Come up to the car wash. Shit, we have a book signing right there. Like, you know, right off top. And a lot of cats, man, like I say, I'll tell anybody. This book writing game, man, it's sweet. It's sweet. You can make a ton of money. You can make a ton of money. I'm honored that somebody would even reach out to me. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, damn, bro, I see you doing your thing, yada, yada, yada. Would you help me? What would you charge me? I ain't charge nobody nothing. I'm honored that they would even come to me with that. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like he made. Me and bro, we go back and forth, man, day in and day out. He called me. I called. I said, oh, this nigga calling again. What's up, bro? Hey, bro, what am I supposed to do? Listen, man, listen. What? Doing a nervous wreck, right? But that's my man. You know what I'm saying? Right. Even with Miss Kiki right here. And this is our first time meeting. Me and our Facebook friends. But the writing process walked us straight through. You know what I'm saying? This is my theory. If you can write a book, you can write a movie. If you can write a book, I always wanted to do movies. Books wasn't really my thing, but people think you got to be a genius to write a book, right? And it's kind of it's funny to me because people be like, yeah, man, you got 10, 12 books, 20 books, whoop. Once you do it one time, man, it's like riding a bike. You never forget it.
So you have to find the right format
Well,
in order to start it off?
I'm going to give you something, and I tell everybody this. Now, I don't normally share this, but I'm going to share this with the world because, you know, games to be sold, not told. Right. But I'm going to give this away. And y'all remember I said it first. I told my man, right? This is the problem with authors these days. They catch writer's block. I know how to prevent writer's block. Anybody want to know how?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give it to y'all. Say you're writing about something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you get stuck. Like, damn, lost your train of thought. Bring in another character. Oh man, that's my man Lamont from high school. We at the radio station.
Mm-hmm.
Blow the horn at him, get out, talk to him. This is what the character does. Hey man, what's going on, brother? Just casual conversation. How's your mom? Yada yada, blessings and yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
You may carry the conversation on and you pick back up. See, you bring them in. It's like you write them in and write them out.
Right.
You can just conversate back and forth and play with it. This may go 5 pages, 10 pages. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Depending on where you want to stop.
Mm-hmm.
That's my theory to not catch writer's block. Bring in another character.
Mm-hmm.
Write them in. Pick up where you left off, if you remember, and write them out.
Now, like you were saying, that you help people out. You didn't charge them anything.
Not at all.
So, going forward, as a business, how should I say it? Do you plan on changing that into a business to where it becomes profitable for the writer and for the consultation of you counseling them on it?
Oh, yes, sir, by all means. And I'll tell you how. I started writing when I was in jail.
Mm-hmm.
And I started writing with some brothers in jail.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these brothers still locked up. So what I want to do, I started my own company. It's called Flippin Real Publishing. People say, well, Flippin Real Books, man. It's some street shit, you know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing that no more. So there's the transition.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they used to call them things books, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was flipping those books, but now I'm flipping these books. They can have that shit. But back to what you were saying, I want to publish inmates. You know what I'm saying? That's why I try to be hands-on with everything I do. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I talk to them all the time, and I show them the covers and stuff that I make. I used to pay people to do this. Shout out to Justin Q Young, too, man. Good brother, man. That's who did Broke Book cover. But, you know, he kept it 100 all through the, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Through the little writing process. And Antoine Floyd, Author Antoine Floyd, he from the Hunters. Good brother. But, yeah, man, I want to publish inmates. So if you give us a story, we're going to give you a book. And here's the beauty of it. When the brothers come home from jail, oh, you got an X on your back and you can't get a job, you got a job. We just created a job for you. You're an author. So we get in touch with brothers like Lamont, and we set up radio interviews and book signings and yada yada and speaking engagements. So, you know,
Right.
You come right out and be your own boss.
Exactly.
And if you do it right, you know what I'm saying? I could pass this down to my kids and grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it really, man, the book thing, man, it wasn't really all about me. You know what I'm saying? It was just about helping people.
Exactly.
Like these two here. I helped a bunch of people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they thank me for it. And it's all love, right? But I tell somebody when they say, well, what would you charge me? I said, I'm not going to charge you anything because it's going to be somebody to come along that didn't know, like you didn't know. And I expect you to pass the blessing on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Be a blessing to them like I was a blessing to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I tell bro, we always talk about, we just said right before we came on about touching a dream, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at that book. Let me see that book. I had to tell him sometime, man, and it's crazy, right? Before he did this, I say, man, when they deliver that box and you open that box and touch that book, natural high, bro. Natural high. It could be just laying on the table and you somewhere you walk past like, damn, I wrote a book. This is me. You know what I'm saying?
I did this.
You can touch it. It's real. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's nothing like taking some idea out of your head, bringing it to life.
But it's like you have to, it's a reason and a season for a lot of things in our lives. And everybody's life has a chapter.
Definitely.
A beginning, a middle, and it's always an end.
Definitely.
That's just how I say it. How you guys put it in book, hands down.
Definitely.
That's what's
you know, a thing happened. This girl, she's went through a lot from the neighborhood. Heroin use, dealing, pimping girls. She's a Christian now. So she said, I told her, did you get my book? She said, oh, I don't really want to do it because the gangster. They catch that and they think there's some negative stuff. And I said, okay. Okay, don't worry about it. So a month or two later, she says, you know what? I want to get your book. She gets my book and she's sitting in her room. She's a part of like a Christian thing. Mm-hmm. She lives there with a bunch of different females who are going have been through stuff. So the book is on her desk, and her cousin came to visit her, and she said, "Hey, where'd you get that book from?" She said, "Oh, I just got it from Amazon." She said, "Hey, there was somebody reading this book on the bus the other day when we were going on Ashland Avenue. There was somebody reading the book on the bus." That kind of blew me away. You know, I'd like to say something, if you don't mind. I give a shout out to somebody that we as a people need to support. And I'm saying it for me. I don't know how you guys go politically. I was invited to speak at a church on the east side on 76th and Cole. And one of the people that was there was Senator Peters from Hyde Park and Sister Kim Fox, the state's attorney. And you asked me about things I would like to do. To me, saying a state's attorney or United States attorney was like saying, I'm looking at Lucifer. To me, I heard this woman speak, and what this woman is being attacked about is some bogus stuff. They hate this woman because she simply wants justice. This woman does not want to sit and prosecute mental cases. She wants to prosecute murder cases, armed robberies, gun cases. Instead, they're at her because of the shooting of that one kid,
Laquan McDonald.
And the prosecution of the police officer who shot him. So they're attacking, especially the order of police, whatever they call themselves. They're at this woman. And when I heard her speak, I'm telling you, not to say that, oh, well, look, a criminal likes her because he wants to be set free. No. When I committed a crime and I was sitting in court, I knew I was going to jail for some stuff that I did. I didn't have a problem with that. I had a problem with a police officer and a state's attorney coming in there and fabricating other stuff. What do you need to throw more stuff on me for? You got me already.
Right.
What are you saying? This other stuff did not happen like they did to Victor. Victor got 103 years from additions and lies about him. He did 30 years of his life based on lies and fabrications. Victor, tell you right now, I'm not saying I'm innocent, but that stuff you guys did to me was not right. When you read my book, you're gonna see part of my federal trial in front of Judge Aspen in the Dirksen Federal Building. How they found me guilty with a deaf juror. How they didn't have a gram to convict me, how they had no taped evidence on me, how they didn't know who I was, how they convicted me with one witness who was in Cook County jail the whole time. Never saw me, never talked to me or anything. If we did, we had a conversation 2 times, and it was out of despise for me to him, where I despised this individual. How they found me guilty like that. Don't think so. When I heard this woman speak and the things she was for, it blew me away. I actually almost fell in love with this woman. Why? Because she was talking about being fair. She was talking about being just. She wasn't talking about releasing me out of jail.
Right.
Okay.
She was talking about doing things the right way, the fair way. If someone comes in, you go to jail, man. You find a lot of mental problems. You wonder what's this guy in jail for? I was in prison with a kid named Day. He was a BD from the South Side. He got caught with his uncle. His uncle was a mailman. Day had 30 years for an ounce of crack.
Little shorty.
Yeah.
Dark skin. Demitrien, that's my buddy.
30 years for an ounce of crack cocaine. Do you know what Day used to do in the TV room? He used to sit there watching TV like this.
With his thumb in his mouth? Yeah, that's my little man.
And I'm like, Day, what are you doing, man? Get your thumb out of your mouth. At the time, I had been in already 10 years, so I'm an elder there. Day didn't care. Day had a baby at home. His girl just was breaking bad on him. And he's got 30 years at federal. You do 87% of your time in federal prison. 30 years, you do the math.
And he left as a kid, man.
He left us. It was a little boy, man.
Yeah, I know the guy.
Him and Cass, all of them were just little kids. But they had 30 years for a crack cocaine case in federal prison. What's a kid like this doing in federal prison? Federal prison was for big time dudes.
Right.
I mean, my indictment was 50 to 150 kilograms. You're talking about 30 an ounce of crack cocaine. He had 30 years.
Wow.
You understand? This is the thing. So when I hear someone like Miss Kim Fox, and I'm really, the way I heard her talk, I'm really offended that a woman has to go through what she has to go through. And I'm not belittling women. I'm saying females are females, males are males. Okay. Why this woman is being attacked like that? I told her, I spoke to her and I said, you know what, Miss Fox, I didn't know you. I knew very little about you. I knew that you supposedly let this guy go because he was an actor. Remember it?
Right.
That he concocted this whole thing, and that's what they're mad about. One of those. That's just an excuse. I said, but I know a lot about you now. And I used to, when I was in my cell waiting to go to court, I would wonder. I'd say, man, God, let a lightning bolt hit that prosecutor before they get in the courtroom. I said, but if it was you, I wouldn't. And I'm not saying that because I knew you would set me free, but I knew you would shoot from the hip.
Right.
You're not gonna come in and just throw some other stuff on there to bury me alive. You got me. You don't need to do all that other stuff. They didn't need to do all the other stuff they did with him.
Right.
And they didn't need to do all the stuff they did with me. If we went by constitutional rights, by what the Constitution offers me, I should have never did the 13 years. Right. As soon as the jury found me guilty and we found out that guy was deaf, my lawyers were supposed to stand, and they were R. Kelly's lawyers. They were supposed to stand up and they were supposed to say, hey, mistrial right there.
Yeah, definitely.
I go to appeals court and the appeals court says that the lawyers are to blame. I go back to the district court. The district court says, oh, the lawyers didn't do nothing wrong. So how do we win this? So that's some of the stuff that I like to see a change in. And I'll tell you what, Miss Kim Fox is a cure for some of that problem. And if people from the African American community, from females, do not go out there and support this woman, then there's something wrong. There was already something wrong with this society, but at least let's try to correct some of this stuff.
Right.
She needs some support. She probably should be on your thing. You should probably get in touch with her and interview her. Yeah. She's really a great lady, very smart. Yeah. And she actually started a movement of 19, they call it the 19th, where women prosecutors around the country have adopted, and they're doing the same thing she's doing. And they're being attacked on every front from everywhere.
Wow.
I just thought I'd bring that up. I appreciate
it's cool.
Thank you for sharing.
We're going to go to a quick commercial break. Yes, fine.
Give a fuck, and they say life can knock you down when you getting up, but don't stay down, ain't no giving up. A lot of people around me act like they don't give a fuck, but maybe it's me cause I don't give a fuck. They say take the good with the bad, but I don't feel like that. I'm still fucked up, can't believe my daddy got killed like that. I almost lost my brother too, they got hit by a train. Damn, I got the call, I quit my job and I jumped on a plane. I thank God my brother survived, but he ain't been the same. No, what hurts the most is I can never say I feel his pain. He lost the man that birthed him and gave him his name. What worse is he was driving, now he the person to blame. They charged him with manslaughter, threw dirt on his name. Then my family chains on them, they should be ashamed. How could you take his umbrella when it started to rain? He could have lost his life, he almost lost his brain. Hey, they say life can knock you down when you getting up, but don't stay down, ain't no giving up. A lot of people around me act like they don't give a fuck, but maybe it's me cause I don't give a fuck. And they say life can knock you down when you getting up, but
don't stay down, ain't no give up. A lot of people around me act like they don't give a fuck. But maybe it's me, cause I don't give a fuck. I gotta call my nigga lost his baby mother today. That's like my motherfucking brother. I ain't know what to say. I ain't had no scriptures to read, ain't wanna tell him to pray. He told me that he was cool, I knew he wasn't okay. I go to sleep dreaming about death and wake up thinking about killing, knowing them kids won't see their mama. It's such a fucked up feeling. Promise myself that I'ma make it, cause I'm ready and willing. Steady trying to get out these streets, cause I'ma keep drug dealing. Daddy thought he introduced me to the dope game. I was already distributing cocaine. The streets changing, I ain't worried about it. Cause I ain't really out here fucking with everybody. I want my peace, nigga. Life can knock you down when you getting up. But don't stay down, ain't no giving up. A lot of people around me act like they don't give a fuck. Maybe it's me, cause I don't give a fuck. And they say life can knock you down when you getting up. But don't stay down, ain't no giving up. A lot of people around me act like they don't give a fuck. But maybe it's me, cause I don't give a fuck.
G-Spot. Man, I hope y'all enjoying this conversation, because this is like this is different from, you know, the artists, actors, models, whatever. You know, this is different, and like I said, is I try to reach everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't have a whole crew to try to, you know, put out what I do. You know what I'm saying? It's like I try to get it to everybody, you know, whatever they got going on. That's reasonable anyway.
Right.
You know. And man, you know, y'all got some inspirational stories. You know, and like I say, you're not in the inside or whatever. It's like you don't know. You don't know. You know, and like I said, it's good y'all telling y'all stories, because let's say if I saw this book in the store, you might glance at it, you might look at it, but when you know the story behind of how it was written and why it was written, becomes more interesting than me just looking at this cover. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I think that's a story that need to be told, a story need to be heard. You know,
we're working on getting it on audio book now.
Okay.
So
that's what's
that
up.
might make things easy. That's supposed to be the hottest thing now. You know, people don't want to read anymore.
Right.
So audio book, like, you know, give it there.
And I'm one of those people. But I'm gonna read this book, man. I'm gonna read this book. And speaking of, you said, well, if anybody can write, or you can write a book, you can write a movie. Yeah. So that's what we on.
Yes,
we finna try to make that happen.
And we're gonna make it happen. Ain't no track.
And you know, and the thing is, I don't want it to be just another black independent film. I want it to be to where it's so in debt. You got people crying. You got people that can relate. You got people that's gonna be mad. You got people that's just gonna be in shock. You know, that's the kind of stuff I like to do. You know what I'm saying? To bring awareness to people. You know what I'm saying? Because you got your traditional gangbang movies, selling drugs, even with music, selling drugs, bitches and hoes, all that. But what can you do different to get people's attention? You know what I'm saying?
That's why I said I'm real versatile with the books. I got a book, man. If y'all really like for the women, it's called Black Betty by Demitrien Oliphant. That's a cold book.
That's really. I bought
it. She supports me like a mother, man. That's a cold book. I'll deal myself.
And speaking of your books, like, where can people come get these books? Or
Amazon.com right now. You could just put in Demitrien Oliphant books, or Stolen Childhood by Demitrien Oliphant, or My Brother's Keeper. I got a whole slew of books. I got a book, man. It's called Lord Have Mercy, right? Now, see, with my books, like I say, I touch on a lot of different subjects, and it's something in every book that I write, man, that'll make you laugh, that'll make you cry, that'll make you think, actually teach you stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, they fictional. These are damn good books. You know, if you ever struggle, you can relate to these books. You know what I'm saying?
How would you feel like going to, like I said, different universities and colleges and talking about your book?
Oh, that's my dream, bro. That's my dream. You know, do that. Me and bro, we always talk about that. But I want to go to these institutions, man, like juvenile detention centers, troubled teens, and little kids like that. And I wanna put in them what wasn't really put in me. You know what I'm saying? And the same way I tell everybody, like, if you follow my little theory, give me a story, I'm gonna give you a book.
You know what?
Story, I'll give you a book. I promise you that.
We could work on that because I know some people that's in the detention centers.
Oh, that's love. That's love.
And couple family members in college. Teachers at colleges. They got connections, stuff like that.
That's love, bro. We want to put that together, man. Yeah. Like I want to see, like in my neighborhood, right? It's a lot of my partners, man. They did in jail, all that, so that. And there was a lot of fatherless kids, so to speak, in my neighborhood. And a lot of these little cats, they grew up with my kids. And they always looked at me like, I was always a father figure, or uncle, whatever they wanted to call me. And they listen to what I say. I try to lead by example. So if I tell them don't do some shit, I don't do it either. Or I don't do it in front of them. I don't say, well, hey, man, you're doing it, why I can't do it? Because what's good for me may not be good for you. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm willing to take my lick. You may not be able to take your lick. You know what I'm saying? So just don't get in it.
And with y'all's experience in the streets and incarceration, what y'all think about what's this horse's name? Tachian 6ix9ine or something like that.
Takashi 6ix9ine.
What do you think about that situation?
That's some TV shit.
Goofy stuff, man. I mean, this kid, but the thing is, I'm sorry if I cut you. The thing is that it's really some clown stuff. One, okay, joke type stuff. But everybody on Facebook and in all this media cracking. I made a statement on Facebook the other day. It really got under my skin. They call this kid a rat. Well, he's a rat. Okay, we know he's a rat. But you got rats calling this kid a rat.
Exactly.
And what I said on Facebook, I said, wait a minute, man. Let's hold on 1 second here. This dude, this 69 dude, whatever he is, he's not the only rat out here. There's a bunch of you rats sharing this about this guy, yet you're a rat just like he is. And that's the thing nowadays. I do want to say something real quick to just so I don't shortchange nobody. I did say when I got out, I had a few kind of skirmishes, kind of words with a couple of dudes, but there was and still is some good dudes in the neighborhood. I didn't want to leave them out because I didn't want to leave the impression that everybody out here in these streets is some goofy and a snitch. There's some good young brothers out here, man. I've gotten some respect from one of my best friends is like my little brother right now. He's one of these guys. He's turned his whole life around. He works for the city right now. He's done some amazing things with himself. So there is some good people. I didn't just want to say that. But as far as this other guy, man, that's some joke stuff. It's some clown stuff to poison the youth. That's all it is.
When he get out, do y'all think he'd be touched? Personally, I don't think he'd ever bother.
Man, no. Let me tell you something. I was in MCC Chicago. It's in my book. I don't really want to say that too much, but I'll put it in another way. I went in MCC Chicago. They'd catch 20 gangster disciples. Within a week, 17 of them are telling. They catch vice lords. 20. Within a week, 18 are telling. They catch Latin kings. Within a week, the same amount is telling. I went to prison, man. The hardest thing doing time was I'm sitting there in prison. I'm thinking I'm going to go to the joint with a bunch of dudes that's gangsters. You know what I mean? And some of these dudes were gangsters on the street. But once you flip, you turn in your gangster card, homie. You ain't no gangster no more. You're a rat. You're a snitch. And I did a hard bit, man, because I sat there and I watched 87% of the joint was snitches. Wow. There was a thing in Beaumont, Texas, in federal FCI Beaumont, Texas, where the snitches gathered their own gang called the Hot Boys, and they were beating up the stand-up dudes. I'm serious. I'm not kidding. This is for real stuff. So this guy 6ix9ine, whatever his name is, this clown with all this creepy
Right.
stuff on himself.
Correct.
He ain't gonna do nothing. He's gonna be, you know what? You hear how much he's selling? They're writing contracts with this guy when he gets out, millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Right.
Listen, there will come a time when a truthful person is gonna be called a liar, and a liar is gonna be called a truthful person.
Right.
And a stand-up guy is gonna be the pig, and the pig is gonna be the stand-up guy. And that's the way it's going, man. Ain't nothing gonna happen to this guy. He's gonna live happily ever after. I used to see some stand-up dudes, and I was like, "Why are you talking to that kid? That kid's a rat."
Right.
Come on, man. You can't hold that against these dudes, man. Why he's feeding you nachos, man? You selling out for nachos? Are you serious, man? You a stand-up dude. You got 20 years. This dude, and I mean, these dudes were telling and getting 10 years still. You told and still you gonna do 10 years?
Mm.
But the whole society has become a society of informers, man. That's why you can't get me to go out here and do nothing, even if I wanted to do something.
Right.
You know?
Right. So by quick
No, they're gonna tell that quick. You can't. Come on, you can't do nothing.
Right.
You can't do nothing. You might as well. This dude right here, he's gonna have a bunch of friends, man. He's gonna have a bunch of dudes come out waiting for him. Hey, what up, homie? Hey, 6ix9ine, you good, man? And man, you didn't tell him this other dude, man.
Right.
That kind of thing. That's what he's gonna get hit with.
Right.
Mm.
Hey, bro, we want to get you in right quick.
Vic.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, that brother.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, you here, man, laughing and shit. What you got going on? What's up, bro? What you got going on?
I'm originally from the low end, 49th State, Robert Taylor Homes. Been there all my life. My two children, I moved them from Chicago to Bloomington, Illinois, where they got themselves in trouble. That's why I decided to write this book called Brotherly Love. It's because it's a true story about my two sons. It's really emotional to me because they had got a lot of time. One of them went in as a juvenile, and he's stuck in there, didn't tell on him, and one of them got 30 years and the other one 21 years for brotherly love. He didn't flip on his brother. They offered him only 4 years, but he didn't flip on his brother, you know. And people don't really understand what people go through as parents. And a lot of people say different things about kids, that they bad and that they violent, but people don't really understand the true story. That's why I really wrote this book, just because of that, so people could know the facts about everything that really happened with my two children. You know, I grew up all my life on the low end, 49th State. You know, it was a rough childhood, single mother raising 4 children. You know, it was very difficult at times, you know, hard to eat. You know, people say a lot about the projects and all this, but it give you stability. It give you strength. It make you a strong person. You know, it gives you this thing when things get hard, you able to fall and get back right back up. You know, a lot of people don't go through a lot of stuff. A lot of people, I feel like, have silver spoons in their mouth, you know, and people look at the projects like, oh, it's dirty, it's disgusting. But a lot of apartments and stuff in that era was clean, you know. We had roaches, rats like anybody else. You can have a nice house and have those things, you know. But stereotype about the way that you live and the way that you brought up, that you get involved in those things, you know. I've been to the penitentiary. I done been there, but I never wanted my kids to be able to have to experience that, because I always told them that I done went to jail enough in this household for all of us. So y'all shouldn't have to go through these things. But we moved them there, thought we was going to give them a better life, but somehow kids always find a way, you know, to get into some trouble. They always find somebody from the city that they came from that they know and get themselves involved inside these things. You know, and my kids, I want to say are bad kids, you know. They just like any other kids. They curious, you know. they get themselves in trouble, but at the end of the day, they still mine. You know, and I look at the fact that, you know, they got a lot of sentences, they got a long sentence, you know, with other people with the same crime, you know, or even a harder crime than them. You know what I'm saying? Got lesser time than that. So I want to write this book just to show that Demetrius told me, as I telling Demetrius my story, he know me for a long time. He know my kids. You know what I'm saying? Since they were shorties, you know, and he said, just write the book. Just write the book. You know what I'm saying? So that the people can understand and know, you know, because people always judge people from what they hear about it instead of the truth. And that's the only reason why I really wrote the book. You know, so people could get a better understanding of how my life went and how their life is. You know, and basically that's it. I'm just here, you know, I'm just here to support Demetrius, you know, Victor, Emad, you know what I'm saying, young lady for, you know, the right, and I hope that I'll be able to publish another book pretty soon.
And you know what, man? It's like you just gotta have faith. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I can hear the sincerity, you know, in your voice. You know, I can hear the pain, I can hear the frustration, and you know, and that's what's to keep you going, man. You know what I'm saying? To stay focused, you know, and just never give up, man.
Appreciate it.
Can I ask him something?
Right.
Psychologically, how did you handle that? Because you were in prison, and then now your two boys went to jail. So, can you like talk us through like how did you handle that mentally over the years? How did you accept that? Did you blame yourself at all or anything?
Yeah, I went through a long period of blaming myself. My wife was real messed up behind it, still messed up behind it, you know. But psychologically with me, I was probably better able to adapt to it because I went through it, you know. As a father, I went through it, but at times when I go into my emotions, I might be by myself or whatever, and they think I'm okay. You know, I never show my emotion around my family or anything else. I leave it time by myself. I may release it another way. So if that answers your question, that's how I handle it.
All right. Well, you know, not to cut you short, we got a little time, but you know, I'm gonna talk to you some more, man. What's good, man?
All right. My name is Victor, man. Like I said earlier, I'm here to support my friend Emad. I didn't come here to speak and say anything about this, but you all want to hear the story. I'll tell you a little bit about my story. As the years went by, people had asked me also about writing a book. I didn't see nothing to it. Like I said, me and Emad's story is very parallel. We grew up together, you know. We have the same views and values are the same about what we think, how things are, how people should be. Only problem is people ain't like that, you know. Right. We end up being the only ones that see ourselves, and very few of us like that. But people always told me to write a story. I didn't see nothing. It's normal to me. Story about what? Nobody wants to hear all this bad shit, right? That's what I always thought, but I kept hearing and hearing. I saw that Emad wrote a book, and people pushing my man right here telling him to write a book. I just been out 6 weeks ago, so it got even harder to write this book now. I'm just moving. I'm trying to get through my life, you know. But my life starts out same place, back of the yard. I was there my whole life since I was born. I'll just give you a little summary of my story. My first memory of life was riding in the back of a car on the way to the hospital when mom was shot when I was 3.5. My dad's dad was cleaning a shotgun in the house, and the gun went off, and it hit me. Killed my mom, and that's my first memory. And from that point on, you know, it was just a normal life. What normal isn't normal to other people, which is why people always told me to write a story. You know, we got involved in the game, and you know, we grew up. You know, I went to Mexico when I was 13. My dad took me out there, took me out of the 8th grade, sent me to Mexico. So I was out there for 3 years. A kid from out there sticking up and fucking around again. Now the feds are after me out there, the federales. I have to leave town. I come back at 16 years old. I'm living alone in Chicago at 16. What do I know how to do? Back on the streets. Hustling, doing what we got to do. Getting involved in the drug game. And away we go. Just trying to elevate ourselves. Trying to get as far up that ladder as we can. You know, know, we don't want to stay stagnant in one spot. We don't want to sell nothing on the corner. We wanted to move up. So my story took me as far up as Mexico and negotiating with Chapo Guzman before anybody knew him in the 80s. What that was going to do and what that was going to take us, who knows?
You know who he's talking about, right? El Chapo?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, this is just a summary of the story, you know. I'm going to write the book. I'm going to have a book out there, you know, because they're going to push me to make sure I get this done. But long story short, you know, it ends up that these cops decide that, you know what, we're just tired of this guy. He don't have to touch nothing no more. He has people to do this. We're never going to get him. Let's just put it on him. Let's just say we found it on him. I'm not saying I was a good guy. And I had to step on a lot of people to get to the top. So we built a lot of enemies over the years. I can tell you that. We did a lot of stuff. And some of that stuff is hard to say, including how I started my story. I never talk about that for years. I didn't tell nobody about that. I lived with it. That's my life. That's my story. And bringing it out makes it hard. You know, it's kind of emotional, you know, when you start writing about it or telling about that, and you have to tell the world about these things, you know.
Trust me.
But people want to hear this for some reason, you know, and it's part of my life. So, okay, I'll start telling the story to people. And, you know, what happens is we end up getting chased down by the cops. They end up making things up. They hate us. They start trying to get rid of us at all costs. So now they make this up. So I go to court with some story about how they saw me with a bag of dope and 9 weapons. Where'd you get the weapons? Well, he dropped a bag of dope. And the substance came out. We didn't have no search warrants. So we saw the substance. That gave us probable cause to look in the bag. How'd you find the guns if you didn't have a search warrant? Well, he dropped the bag next to a pile of guns. They were all on a blanket in the attic. They go for this. Now, the state's attorney gets behind the cops on this. They're just as crooked. Judge gets behind the state's attorney with this. They're just as crooked. Anybody could read this with their eyes closed. This is a bogus story. That doesn't make a difference. They slam me with 90 years, give me 9 more on top of that. Then they take me down to the joint and they send me back and say, oh, by the way, you got a bond jump. We're going to give you 4 years. So let's add insult to insult and injury. All right? I'm going to give you another 4 on top of that. So now I'm sitting down there with all this time for something. And not that I didn't do this, but I didn't do that. And like Emad said, if you follow the Constitution, you're throwing this out. Yeah. You didn't even have search warrants.
And you had how many co-defendants on the case?
I had 4 more people.
What happened to them?
They threw all 4 out. They threw all the guns out, and they just continue to charge me on the drugs.
And dismissed the case.
No, but 2 dirty cops are saying we saw. They ain't saying, well, look, we've been investigating this guy for 6 months. We have all kinds of seizures of properties. They got nothing. I had none in my name. They had nothing. But that was enough just to say, okay, we're going to put you away for life. They slammed me and gave me the longest prison sentence in Illinois history for drugs. Wow. I went down with that sentence, and I ate it up. You see people crying. Emad will tell you they get 10, 12, 13 years. They're crying. They're bawling out. We were dirty. We did things. We knew the game. All we wanted is for the people who weren't serious, step out of the way so we can run, because all you're doing is getting in our way. All these people just want to trick and do and snitch. Get out of our way. Let us run. So I took my hit. I went down. I didn't cry. I didn't complain. I kept doing things when I got down to the joint for a while. It didn't stop me. Eventually, it had to stop you, you know. Prisons changed. Back then, the joints were open. It was wild. So you had all the drugs you wanted. If you wanted drugs, if you had the means, you had it. But you get older, things change. You slow down. You stop all that. After a while, you know, trying to find my way out, fought the appeals, spent a lot of money. Emad will tell you, he was always there. Hey, take care of that for me. Go pay that lawyer. Take care of that. Boom, boom, boom. Cash on the table. Let's go. Didn't work. Didn't get a day knocked off. All right. Well, about 26 years later, it turns out that the governor ended up commuting my sentence. But I had to wait. I had to carry that weight. That was a heavy weight to carry all my. I thought I was going to die in there. I had to carry that around and keep it to myself, you know. The judge came forward after about 23 years saying, I made a big mistake. I gave this guy too much time. Wow. It was the biggest mistake of my career. It's been haunting me, blah, 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 right? Now, that was rare because they take that to their grave. Judges don't do that. My lawyer said, look, I got a team of 3 lawyers. They says, we ain't never seen the judge do this before. But people wondering how you got that done. It just happened, you know? God on your side, you know? A lot of this stuff is kind of emotional, you know what I mean? You keep it to yourself, but I'll be writing about it, you know. It's an interesting story to those who want to read it. To me, it's not interesting. This is normal life. The way the world is out here now, I just got out 6 weeks ago. I've been hitting the ground and running. I've been doing things people having 6 months out haven't got to. But that's where we're at right now, you know. The world's different out here now. They've created this world, the cameras and privacy, that's all gone. Speed bumps and the speed limits and the cameras for speeding and traffic. They've created this world to stop people like that I used to be from existing. That's what they did. They tweaked everything. Oh, you can get away with it? We're going to tweak that. Oh, that? We're going to tweak that too, make sure you don't exist. So people that got to the level that we were, they can't exist in this world. And like he was saying, that what they did with all these kids out there that are doing all this, the neighborhoods have an ecosystem. Jungles have it, the oceans have it, the neighborhoods have it too. They came around and they grabbed all the big guys, paraded them around, patting themselves on the back, put all the drugs and weapons on the table. Look what we did. We arrested 13 guys in one sweep. But they didn't tell the neighborhood, be careful, because bullets are going to be flying in the next few weeks. Because everybody's going to be fighting for that spot. Every corner now. That's my cousin. I deserve it. No, I was with him for so many years. I deserve it. It's an ecosystem. Those guys were the sharks. They kept everybody in control. When they said, don't do this, those shorties didn't do it. But they knew they had to deal with the older guys. Shorties don't care now. They don't listen to their parents. They don't listen to the cops. What makes you think that those were the only people they were going to fear? You took them away. You created this problem. They don't talk about this. But that's what the truth is. See, I watched it when I got locked up and I seen it all happen. This was the game I was in, so I analyzed it all the time. My mind is, I'm a chess player. That's what I do. So I watched this and I analyzed it all. And I seen how that all played out. And that's a big problem they have now.
You know what, man? Man, I'd love to stay here to keep talking to you guys, man. But, you know, we got to wrap it up. I'm going to have to invite y'all back because, man, all this is interesting. You know what I'm saying? So before we get out of here, y'all shoot out y'all social media, how people can follow you, you know, your books, all that. Just, you know, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel. It's anything you want to find about me, The Jerusalem Gangster. That's the name of the book. You'll find me on Facebook under Emad Deen, EMADUDEEN.
My name is Ki. I go by Ki Alexandra, and you can find me on Facebook at Ki Alexandra or on Instagram at Ki Alexandria _7, or go to my website, klpublishingllc.com, for my books and literary services. And I also want to give a shout out to my sister that's here with me, to my grandmother, baby, my mom, my sisters, Nani and Amir, and also all my friends and family. So thank you guys, and thank you guys for having me.
It's all good, baby. The Demitrien Oliphant, all social sites. That's pretty much it, man. You know, y'all need to write a book or any publishing tips, get at me, man. I'll help y'all. I ain't gonna charge y'all yet, but you know, be a blessing to somebody else, man. You know, somebody gonna stumble across y'all that need that knowledge. Give it to them. I gave it to y'all. I ain't charging.
You can reach me at Derrick Wade Publishing.com. Thank you. Thank y'all for having me.
As I said, I've only been out 6 weeks. I don't have all the social sites. These guys are up. I'm not up on all that. I'm on Facebook under Vick Dee. Vick Dee.
All right.
It's a short version of my last name. I just keep it that way.
All right, man. Man, I really appreciate y'all for coming out here. You know, this was a great show.
Definitely.
You know, I'm gonna have y'all back on here. So until then, we out of here. Make sure y'all stay locked, cocked, and ready to rock at all times with the G Spot Lounge. All right, we out here. All right.